Good morning, listeners, viewers, people. Good morning. Can you hear me? I think we're live. And you're listening to Amar, and we appear to have lost Jeff. Here we go. You know this show is live. Jeff, what happened there?
Oh, it's a bit of a technical issue. I pressed the wrong button because I was getting an incoming call, and I instead of putting that off, I put this one off.
I'm talking away to you. Is what I was doing. And I'm thinking, where you got? Is the thing. It's a shame you cannot mute other things whilst you're on this. What's even funnier is I keep talking to myself, so we keep losing Jeff. Jeff, are you doing the hokey pokey?
Oh, it's just so much pain. I'm not really too sure what's happening. I'm trying to end the calls, but they keep on coming in. But I'm just gonna not touch them at all.
Wonderful, wonderful. So the sun is shining. It's meant to be a wonderful, nice day.
Looks like it. Nice to have the sun out.
Makes a big difference.
It does. It does. It makes a big difference on so many fronts. Seems to be so much doom and gloom. It's just nice for the sun to maybe change all of our mindsets and make it a lot more positive than what it is from what I see at this moment in time.
And it's meant to be a nice weekend, and it's Holi today. Happy Holi!
Happy Holi, everybody. I think was it today, Amar, or does it go on for a few days?
Yeah. So there's a festival, and we've got Vikas coming on our show shortly.
Excellent.
Talking about the Holi Festival. I really like Vikas. He's a lovely guy.
Top guy, Vikas.
I really like him. Really like him. And what he does through Gem Arts is like incredible. But yeah, there's a big Holi Festival on tomorrow at the Baltic. So I'm going to take the family down, get into culture. I was even. It's interesting growing up how you remember song words, lyrics. You know, as in it's so funny, isn't it? And I was like, Holi ke din dil khil jaate hai. Rango mein rang mil jaate hai. You know that song?
Vividly, I think.
Vividly, that's the wrong word. Vaguely is the word you were looking for.
No, I think I do recognize it, right. But it's been such a long time since I've watched or even come across Indian movies. It's probably something that's very much back in the day, but I'm sure.
Oh, undoubtedly. Well, I don't know anything.
I'm sure I could connect with the original one a little bit more.
Yeah. Well, so you don't know where it's from. Is that what you said?
I couldn't tell you exactly which movie it's from.
Right.
Surely? No?
That's exactly
really?
it. Good guess. Great guess. Yeah. But it's funny because I think we only had the one videotape. Actually, we had two that we used to rent, and you used to rent them from Lala's every weekend.
Yeah.
And because you only got one or two videos, you'd make the most of it, and you'd watch them like you'd watch them non-stop. Yeah. So all of a sudden, because it was in your formative years where you're learning and you absorb everything, the words are ingrained in my RAM, which is my random accessible memory. So if similarly with the Naseeb, that is another one that I probably know nigh on all of the lyrics to all of the songs, but most definitely Surely we do. Anyway, it's Holi. There's a big festival going on tomorrow at the Baltic. encouraging, and hopefully look forward to seeing anyone. Let's get going, Jaff. It's gosh, good morning, listeners and viewers. You're listening to Amar and
Jaff,
live on our weekly radio show right here on Spice FM.
and each week we'll bring some views, news, and one or two clues from the business world.
Yeah. Asian Business Connections aims to connect, support, and promote the Asian and wider communities.
And we'll be talking shop quite literally and not just corner shops. Whether you're looking to start a business, have an existing business, or you just want to talk business, we can help.
We can't help. We can't help. So yeah, interesting week, Jaff. What's been happening?
I think everyone seems to be naturally consumed by this war in Ukraine. That's where all the headlines are. But I think more concerning is probably the huge price increases that every single person in this country is going to unfortunately have to live with, and whether it be business cost increases or household cost increases. I mean, our suppliers are, it's incredible, some of the price increases that are happening at the moment. I mean, it was never like this in the pandemic. Like, so for example, chicken, we get a lot of the restaurants, takeaways, they get a frozen chicken, which comes from somewhere like Brazil or whatever. Our chicken is a fresh, local chicken, and the cost of that is just gone up by about 30%, from about 40 quid a box. It's up to 53 already, and each week they can't tell us the price until the Monday of the beginning of the week, and it's just going to keep on spiraling. Now, for us, and we've had these discussions with the management team, it's a matter of under no circumstances could we get anything frozen. So we have to keep on absorbing this unbelievable cost increase. And that's just on one line. I mean, it's an important line, but the frozen stuff that are coming from other parts of the country, other parts of the world, such as Bangladesh, and they seem to be okay. But anything to do with, obviously, Ukraine, Poland, Russia, so the chicken grain, it comes from Ukraine. So that has just skyrocketed the cost of the chicken across.
You mean the chicken grain? What's the chicken grain?
The chicken grain, so the chicken feed. The chicken need feed, right? So the chicken feed, it comes from Ukraine. So and because of the chicken feed's gone up, the price of the chicken has gone up. I mean, I think there's a lot of exploitation, I'm pretty sure, within the marketplace as well. But I mean, that's just one example, Amar. I mean, there's so many other things. I mean, interest rates have gone up from 0. You'll know more than me probably. It's gone up from 0.5% to 0.75%. So is that nearly an increase of a 3/4 of an increase of the interest rate?
Yeah.
And that happened yesterday.
Yeah.
I mean,
it's a perfect storm, and at the end of this month, Jaff, the employer's national insurance and employees' national insurance is going to go up at the end of the month. So it's like there is no such thing as a perfect storm, is there? But anyway, this is going to see, and is starting to see, such an incredible impact on basically all of the society.
Yeah, the whole of society, businesses and households alike. I think no one can, it's not that it can just impact on certain type of businesses, because when the energy costs go up, they go up for everybody. I mean, I was
talking to a business last week, right? And their energy, a manufacturing business, so they've got a big plant. Guess how much their bill's gone up?
what, 50%, 60%, 100%. I mean, nothing would surprise us anymore.
So basically, from a figure point of view, 1,150,000 pounds they have to find more.
A year.
Yeah.
It's just, I think there's going to be some, I mean, where is this going to end, Amar? I think there's going to be something beyond. I think I'm not an economist, but this is not sustainable. So when something becomes unsustainable, I'm pretty sure there's going to be some kind of new economic world that's going to come before us in a very, very short period.
I think basically everyone's just going to be poor. I'm going to look to certainly my staff. I'm going to have to consider giving them a pay rise at the end of this month. But my business can't absorb all of that. But I need to look after my team.
Yeah, of course. I mean, without the team, there is no business.
So it's that balance, but it's just, I'm talking to lots of people. Well, look, perfect example, right? So there is outrage this morning that P&O, the ferry operator, has made, and they use the term sacked, but they haven't. They've laid off. The contracts were such that they were allowed to. They've turned around and gone, 800 members of staff, we're going to have to lay you off, and we're going to have to bring on agency staff because we've seen an increase. Now imagine their fuel costs, Jack. Crude, fuel, power, energy, just as a bare minimum, but all of their supply chain. So, and imagine as an employer, right, a 2 or a 3% increase in your employee costs as well.
Yeah.
And don't forget, those employee costs then immediately have an impact on additional associated costs like pensions and everything else.
Yeah. It's absolutely crazy. So I know, so another easy way to look at it, and I was equipped enough to hold a meeting with our management team and explain to them that, look, costs are going up, your earnings are gonna they're not gonna go up, but the costs are gonna go up. So technically, you're gonna be a lot worse off, and that's gonna be an ongoing spiral. And you know, get yourselves ready, gear yourselves up, and adapt your lifestyles, and don't do anything lavish at this moment in time, because you might regret it in 3 months' time when we might have to accept, you know, to fuel your tank. If it's costing you £100 at the moment, it might cost you 150 quid. Now, if you're dependent on traveling a lot, you know, and you fill up your tank a couple of times a week, you know, you're in big trouble. But what I wasn't able to tell them, Amar, is how do you deal with this type of situation? Because all the people that are going to be, you know, the livelihoods are going to be, it's going to take such a big, it's going to be such a big hit. How do they kind of get through things? What do they do? Who do people turn to? I mean, how do they get through this difficult period? I wasn't really equipped enough to tell them, well, yeah, the world is gonna, economically, yeah, you're gonna ride the storm out for 6 months, and after 6 months, we're gonna come out of it and we're gonna be better. A bit like, you know, let's get through the pandemic, and at the end of it, we're okay. But I personally the pandemic, whilst the entire country was in lockdown, it didn't have this type of impact in the last 2 years that I'm seeing now in terms of costs. Is that a fair kind of
observation?
Yeah, of where costs are for the last 2 years.
Well, the thing is, Jeff, right? We haven't right now been able to address the challenges associated with Brexit. Right? So we've had the pandemic.
Yeah.
We've had Brexit, both of which we haven't really recovered from, although there's a lot more activity, right? But I've been talking to leisure operators now, and several of them are, sort of in confidence, sort of going, well, people aren't going out as much. So end of last year, sort of end of the pandemic, when it opened up a little bit, everyone was like sort of a coiled spring where everyone wanted to go out, everyone wanted to have a party, and they were going out every night and all of that. All of a sudden, the bullets start to bite, and consequently, what people are doing is being a bit more conscientious and conscious of simply going out every single night, and it's starting to revert back to more special occasions. And even then, it's like, oh, I think I prefer the convenience of being in the house and just ordering stuff in. You're seeing a lot of habits changing back to what people are buttoning down the hatches, so they're staying at home. They're being a bit more considerate. From a business model point of view, though, Jack, if your business model is purely built on price, then the likelihood is you're going to really struggle, if not fail.
What do you mean built on price exactly in terms of?
So your business model, right? A business model has ultimately 9 key segments to it, right?
Okay.
The first segment is your customer segment. So who are your customers? And I don't just mean people coming to have some food, right? Because everybody eats. I'm talking about, have you honed your customer segment down to, well, we're looking for sort of well-to-do, relatively well-to-do, more affluent type of customers who are aged between X and Y, who don't need to worry about whatever. And have you really thought through who your ideal customer is and profiled them?
Yeah.
Right? Because ideally, what you need to do, starting point is exactly that. This is the profile of our customer. This is how much they earn. This is who they look. This is where they shop. Even just some crude type of profiling statistics. So that's the first thing. Based on that, you then develop your value proposition. So your value proposition is based on a number of things. So is it based on price? Are you going to be the cheapest in the marketplace? Is it based on experience? And then a whole host of other things. So if you're simply the cheapest in the market, right, how long can you sustain or maintain that model when everything starts to increase? Right? So the pound shop is a perfect example, because I don't think they could no longer sustain pound shop scenario, could they?
It's quite a good example, actually. What did they do? Call it the £1.20 shop now?
Well, that's in £1.99 is the thing. Well, I think it's called the pounds shop.
Is it?
That's what I would just put shop. I would just put an S on the end of it, the pounds shop. So everything is going to cost some pounds. But all I'm saying to you is that business model's failed, right? Because that's all it's based upon. Whereas if we take your business model, right, not only do you offer a good experience, not only do you offer a great level of service, but you also underpin it by some principles of quality and consistency, right? So, so if you're getting a great experience, if you're getting fantastic service, and if you're getting great product or service, as in, well, product from a food quality point of view, then people will accept that prices have increased, and people will absorb, some of that, as long as it doesn't become like dramatic. So a perfect example at the other end of the scale is Apple, Jeff, right? They don't offer discounts. They don't drop the prices on anything. You can go out and get, you can buy your mobile phone. You could probably get one for free on a contract, but you can go out and buy a mobile phone that'll do similar things to what an Apple phone will do, yet people still will happily go out and pay 900, 1,000, 1,100, 1,200, 1,300 pound for an Apple phone. You can go out and get an iPad or a tablet, but like now you can get them for 40, 50 pound on Amazon. They'll do a job, yet people will go out and spend 500, 600, 700 pound for an Apple.
I mean, obviously, it's probably not. It's probably a little bit more complex than the way that you've described it, because people are kind of tied into Apple in so many ways.
What does that mean?
You could be part of a network of people that have Apple, and you get some benefits from that. You could be the familiarity of it. You've used it all of your life, and you kind of your mindset's set in that way. So I mean, what options are there?
Jeff, this is my point, right? People don't buy Apple purely based on price, do they? People, as in, because if Apple's business model was purely based on price, no one would go out and buy all of those things. It's because of the stickiness. It's because of the lifestyle value. It's because of the convenience. It's because they understand the customer segments and they've profiled their products accordingly, right? So if you're a business person, Apple does a particular thing. If you're a creator, Apple does a particular thing. As in even simple things like, if I've got, I've probably got about 10 email accounts from different companies. On the Apple iPhone and the iPad, I can see all of my emails in one place. On other devices, I have to go into individual accounts to see.
Yeah.
The perfect example. So immediately, it isn't just the fact that it's really expensive, and I'm going, oh, it's a very expensive thing, and look at me, I've got an Apple. It's because of its form, its function, its value. So and that is the point. So as a business model, right? If you can go, if your kebabs and your chips and whatever, if you're a takeaway wherever you are, and you're purely basing it on price, right? You'll get lots of people coming to you because you do a kebab and chips for $1.99 or $2.99 or $3.99, whatever it is. Others will go somewhere because of the quality of the food or the taste of it. Some people will happily pay for something because it's cheap.
Of course.
And that's why they're going there. Some people will go somewhere because it tastes good. Some people will go there because the service is good. There's some people will go there because it's all up there. Their social media is good. So the differences in the business model is my point, and you need to consider which part of your business model do you use as your differentiator. Is it your cost? Is it how you communicate with customers? Is it the relationship you have with customers? Is it who you get your service and products from? Is it how and who your partners are? Is it you squeeze the costs on your suppliers, all of those type of things. So Tesco's, what they tend to do is they tend to squeeze their supply chain more than anything else. So their business model is based on supply chain squeezes. So they'll constantly, regularly, this is public knowledge, within the news, you will have suppliers, dairy farmers saying that actually they don't even make any money from Tesco because they just need to be able to sell their product and they need to milk the cows and they need to sustain the business, but they don't make any money from it because Tesco is just not offering them that. Other supermarkets are out there as well. I use Tesco's as an example, and there's lots of other supermarkets that do a similar thing. So and this is allegedly all of that type of thing. Note what is said by me is thought by Jaff. So I'm just reading his mind. Is what I'm doing. So yeah, it's really hard, Jaff. Is what it is. Anyway, a few things to think about, because one of the key considerations, if you go back to Steve Jobs or Microsoft or whatever it is having a big, hairy, audacious goal. So now you might be thinking, oh my gosh, how do I have a goal, and how do I create a goal, and how do I be really ambitious when the whole world is doing this? Now's the best time to book that trend and go, we want to grow by 30% regardless. And what are we going to do that? So a big, hairy, audacious goal, or a BHAG, is a term that was created by Jim Collins and Jerry Porras in their book, Built to Last, Successful Habits of Visionary Companies. A BHAG is a long-term goal, usually 10 to 25 years, that is inspired by your organization's values and purpose, and in turn inspires your shorter term plans. Your 90-day, 1 year and 5-year targets should be steps on the journey to your achieving your BHAG. An example is one that Microsoft founder Bill Gates shared. So Bill Gates' big, hairy, audacious goal, Jaff, was when Paul Allen and I started Microsoft over 30 years ago, we had big dreams about software. We had dreams about the impact it could have. We talked about a computer on every desk and in every home. So that's what they talked about, having a computer on every desk and in every home. This is like before people really knew even what computers were.
Yeah.
It is your vision for the future that will serve as the roadmap for all the changes that you seek to make. How do you define your BHAG? So first, don't choose something that you think you will accomplish easily. SpaceX's big BHAG is to enable human exploration and settlement on Mars. So SpaceX, they want to put people on Mars. Microsoft's dream of a computer on every desk and every home might seem relatively straightforward now, but when it was created, it presented a seemingly impossible goal. Secondly, pick something that you, your executive team, and your employees are passionate about so that everyone can feel encouraged to work towards it. Finally, make it simple to understand and communicate. How can new employees or customers get on board with your vision if they don't understand what you're looking or working towards? Try to condense it to no more than a sentence so that it can be easily communicated. Here are some more examples. Walmart's 1990s BHAG was to reach 125 billion turnover by 2000.
Wow. 125 billion.
Yeah. NASA's goal. Sorry, I just need to do a quick check.
Did Walmart, did they come anywhere close to achieving that?
So Walmart, in 2022, goods sold cost of goods sold was 420 billion.
Really? Jesus. What we're doing wrong? Doing something wrong.
Obviously. Oh, well, the first thing is, you clearly haven't got a goal, have you? You clearly haven't got a big, hairy, audacious goal.
So that's what we need to start off with.
Well, that's what everybody needs to start off with. So NASA's goal in the 20th century was to land a man on the moon by 1970. Nike's big, hairy, audacious goal in the 1960s was simply crush Adidas.
Really? So is this goal different to the vision, though, isn't it? It falls
this is so your goal is, where do you want to be?
Yeah.
Your vision is almost setting out how you're going to get there, type of thing. And your mission are the actions that you take along the way.
Isn't the vision more about what your product offering is and what your story or your concept is?
Well, it's nothing. It's like, I have a dream, type of thing. But the big, hairy, audacious goal is something that's tangible. It's measurable. As in you go. So as I say, Nike's big, hairy, audacious goal in the 60s was simply crush Adidas. Once you've chosen your big, hairy, audacious goal, commit to it and start working towards it. So Amazon, Google, Facebook, all of them, right, always had this big, massive goal. Airbnb, all of them, they've always gone, we want this big goal and we're going to focus on that exclusively. And that's the other thing. Don't get distracted.
It's very interesting, very, very interesting, especially in the climate that we see ourselves in at this moment in time. I think no matter what difficulties or what concerns that any members of the public may have, our listeners may have, I think one thing you should recall and embrace is the fact that you are a part of history. This is like a historical moment in the lifetime of the planet, and we are part of that. So that's something that we should all embrace, regardless of how easy or difficult it may be. Because, you know, wouldn't you want to live in the times of, let's say, Jesus Christ, or you know, some historical moments? Because I think certainly in history, this is going to go down as one of the most historical moments ever.
It's incredible, Jeff, and actually we haven't touched upon it, but it's quite shocking, the war, and how it's turning out, and it's horrific. And our good friend Tony had sent me a horrific piece of history. And I'm loathed to read it out, because it is that sad. It is that sad.
Is it against the narrative?
So it's a black and white picture, and it was a long line of stripped, naked Jewish women with babies, patiently waiting for their turn to be executed. The time was 1942. The place, Babin Yar in Kiev. And the story of Herman Grabe, which was the testimony, it made me feel sick.
But is that the supporters of the Azos groups?
Sorry?
I think that was done by the Azos groups.
What's that mean?
It's a group that were involved in those type of atrocities during that period. And unfortunately, remnants of that group still exist in Ukraine today.
So anyway, whatever it is, it was a horrific. I was like,
So, but what
sick.
does that? What does that lead to, though? What? So that
Well, so sorry. The point was, you know, the atrocities that occurred several years ago were almost like decades ago, and you know that you almost feel an element of that. Obviously, not to the same extreme, and I'd be horrified to think that that is the case. And I'm certainly not comparing chalk with cheese. It was just, you know, it was more the fact that I felt sick reading it, and it was a horrible thing to read, and how horrible societies are on one another. But in any event, what is really important is that we are able to come together and support one another and champion what's right and what's wrong. Sadly, we are not familiar with everything that's going on and everything that is happening, and the causes and the causation behind that, you know, and the impact of everything. But we can see what we can see, and it's just shocking, is what it is. But let's change the narrative slightly, and let's talk a little bit to our wonderful guest, the vivacious, the wonderful, the beautiful, the look how wonderful Vikas looks.
Thank you very much. Hello, everyone.
Hey,
Hi, am
How
I?
you doing?
Hey.
All right, man. How's it all going?
Yes, good. You well?
Yes, good.
Good.
Healthy. That's the most important thing in these days, isn't it?
Yeah, of course.
It is.
Of course.
Happy Holi.
Happy Holi to you as well. Wishing you positivity, you know, new beginnings, hope, love. We need a lot of that in the world at the minute, don't we?
Absolutely.
Big hugs and all of that is what we need.
Absolutely. Yeah, it's great seeing you. I was tuning into your show, like, so I've been listening in all the time as well throughout. So
That's very kind. That's very kind. Well, it's and actually what makes our show even better is you, because you know, so thank you for joining us. If you didn't hear earlier on, both Jaff and I were recognizing, respecting, and appreciating the incredible work that you do, and the difference that you make through Gem Arts and, you know, everything else as well. So for the purpose and the benefit of both the video and the radio station, please introduce yourself. Who are you? What do you do? Why do you do it?
So I'm Vikas Kumar. I'm director and CEO of Gem Arts. We're an arts organisation based in the northeast of England, and we create and profile South Asian and culturally diverse arts through concerts, festivals, events, performances, artist development, commissions, and we've got quite a substantial participatory and learning participation program working with communities across Newcastle, Gateshead and the wider northeast. So we work with regional, national and international artists, and we profile and program them in places, spaces and venues across the northeast region to celebrate culture and identity. And that's why I kind of do it, because I've got a real passion for the work. And I think that culture brings communities together. It helps people to, enables people to celebrate their culture and their identity, which is really important as well. And, you know, I think without culture, we don't, and without the arts and without something to sort of, you know, bring that to our lives, I think it would be a bit of a boring place really without that, wouldn't it? And especially over the pandemic, we've really, when things are taken away from us, you know what I mean, just like that overnight, we will value them even more. I think sometimes you take it for granted, but then when it's gone, it's like, oh God. So that's why I do what we do. Yeah, I think.
I love it, and you're right. You know, you don't realize what you have until you've lost it at times. So from that point of view, it's critical, and you realize the importance of culture, and the fact that we all sort of are formed and informed and influenced by our own cultures. And it's wonderful to see you pulling together such a significant event. Vikas, tomorrow, tell us about it.
So yeah, so Holi, it's a Hindu festival, but really it's a more sort of global festival, well, because it celebrates oncoming of spring, new life, like I said, hope, and all these things, which really are in every culture, really, at the end of the day. And there's been, there's been sort of small celebrations across the Northeast over many years. And I sort of thought, well, after the pandemic, it'd be great to sort of galvanize those and sort of bring it to really an iconic location, like it's that, it's on the bank of the Tyne or Baltic Square. You've got the fantastic bridges as a backdrop. You've got Baltic Centre for Contemporary Art, and I thought it would be a great opportunity to sort of bring Baltic as our partners on board. There was Newcastle Hindu Temple. There's also Chai Events. There's Sandeep, Spice FM. There's Newcastle University, South Asian Society and Tamil Society. So we had a conversation, and all sorts of different community people as well. And I said, look, let's do something really fantastic together to celebrate, culture and sort of bring communities together and our communities together in iconic location to celebrate this. So during the day, it's from 12 till 4 at the Baltic, and we've got events happening within the Baltic between 12 and 3. So bring the kids along, bring families along, and it's all free. And then it culminates at 3 o'clock with a big colour throwing event outside on Baltic Square.
Oh, excellent.
Yeah, I'm excited.
Yeah.
So can we reenact that famous scene? Because I did share with Jack.
Surely.
Yeah, I did share.
That's where I got my inspiration from, because I think
so I actually still know the lyrics to the song, because we watched the video sort of 674 times. And
I'm on your wavelength, because I listen to you all the time, and again, like with America, Anthony and Shirley, or them two are my greatest films ever as well. And that Shirley, that scene is just incredible. So yeah,
it's beautiful.
Let's all reenact that on Saturday.
Yeah. Right, okay. I'll even sing it. I'll sing it. Jeff can sing it. It's the thing. It's like, it's the thing. No, beautiful, because it is. That colourfulness and the culture that helps break down some of the barriers, the biases, and all of the challenges. People just come along and have fun. And Holi is the festival of light. Every single sort of culture or religion follows an aspect of light and darkness. They're all based on those same type of principles. So to be able to share that, I think is fantastic. So the lineup, Vikas, is anybody can come along. It's open to everybody.
Yeah, it's a free event, accessible to everyone. You know what I mean? And we want to create that. So it starts at 12 o'clock, and across the different levels at the Baltic, we've got various activities going on. We've got local artist Raj Rani creating a large-scale Rangoli in there, and she's been working on that for the last 3 or 4 days and will be completing on the day. We've got an artist, Emma Sheridan, who will be working on as a Rangoli workshop, so you can bring the kids along, young people along, and they can take their own Rangoli home. We've got an origami artist. We have music from local dole drummers. We've got Gaurav, who's from Spice FM, and Chai Events, who will be DJing. We've got Chai Events putting the deco together to give it a splash of Holi there on the day as well. And there's food, which is being provided by Newcastle Hindu Temple, which is free as well. And come for a cup of chai and chat really on the day as well. So yeah, there's a lot of things to do there. And also there's the exhibitions themselves at the Baltic, and you can go on the viewing platform at the top. So even to walk around the Baltic itself on a normal day, it would take you like an hour and a half or 2 hours to see the exhibitions. And within that also, we have all the elements of our Holi event. So there'll be Bollywood dancers, there'll be Bharatanatyam dancers, all local artists that we're profiling as well. So it's really exciting. It's a fantastic family event. Come bring your family down and, support it. And hopefully the idea is to make it I guess this is a kind of a pilot event. The idea is to make it bigger and better over the years as well. You know what I mean? To sort of just to see what sort of demand there is for it, and then we can go and work alongside other partners as well to sort of expand it.
Hopefully the weather's going to be like it is today. That's going to be massive. I'm sure as soon as people see all the color, all the lights, and people are going to kind of get down to Quayside. And obviously those that aren't aware of it, you've heard everything here from what's happening on Saturday.
Yeah, and again, yeah, we'll have booked the sunshine, and I think I'm fingers crossed. You know what I mean? It is. It's meant to be.
It's meant to be, isn't it? It's meant to be a really good day, and the weather is meant to be consistent. Vikas, it's casual, isn't it? As in, if the kids are coming and we're coming down, we're just gonna sort of wear casual stuff.
Yeah,
you can wear your designer suits and stuff. It's all right.
That's what I was going to say.
Getting a little bit of colour on those, they'll wash out straight away.
I don't have any. I've still the ones that I wear are from Burton's. You know, it's what I wear. So
you'll have to get another one cut from Savile Row, I think. You know what I mean?
Well, I'm asking a designer in Italy who actually takes a private jet, measures them up, and makes his suits with the silkiest silk that you'll ever find. I'm not joking.
I do believe you, but
anyway, anyway, this is not a Tenerife or an 11 type of conversation, Jan. We know who spends more on their fashionable clothing and their fashion attire. But in any event, so I'm going to come in my dhoti tomorrow. Is that all right?
That's absolutely fine. I would absolutely encourage that. Come in something white, which you don't mind getting messy, and with the kids as well. You know what I mean? So yeah, I'm gonna have to. Yeah, I'm trying to decide like how I'm going to do this, because there's a few. I think we've got a few people coming down, so we've got to show them around the event itself, and at some point I've got to run off and get changed into something more appropriate. You know what I mean? But yeah, I think.
What does that mean? So what are you going to do? So what are you wearing then, Vikas? Let's get into the really important conversation
about clothes and fashion and like how appropriate to be dressed. Yeah. I think I'm just going to wear a blazer and a t-shirt underneath, so I can just take my blazer off and get involved in it. Really, that's about it. I think the mayor the Lord Mayor was also asking me as well. So he goes, I want to get stuck in, so can I just wear what I want? I went, yeah, absolutely. You know what I mean? It is. It's one of those things. Come dressed.
What would you traditionally wear, Vikas, for people who like sort of like a white what?
Yeah. You could just wear a white t-shirt or a white kurta. You know what I mean? That's what you'd wear. You know. And I think
that what you would wear, like if you were celebrating this festival and with the sort of the color and everything else, you'd wear white.
Well, and you'd wear something. Yeah, you would, and I think because essentially it's about getting the color on you as well, so that you know it's about sort of saying how much color you can get on you as well, and how much color people throw at you as well. So that's the point of it. So yeah, I think
can you come and pick me and the family up so we're sat in your car then? All right.
Well, I don't mind. I've got a banger anyway, so it's all good.
Bring the van. Bring the van. Is the thing. Anyway, no, I'm getting excited. I'm looking forward to sort of getting involved in some cultural type of engagement and activities. And as I say, it's wonderful what you do. Because what else can you share with our listeners and viewers?
Yeah, again, it's really exciting that things are opening up again now. So, you know what I mean? And, you know, especially with the work that we do, it's about connecting audiences and performers on stage live. It's been great doing it online in a sense, because you had to adapt and be responsive to the times, but you can't get that feeling unless you're in a room together, sharing that sort of cultural experience together. So we're really excited to be bringing a full program over the next couple of months. So we've got performances happening at the Sage Gateshead as part of our Riverside Raga concert series. They're back and they start there's one on April the 29th. We've got a fantastic jazz clarinetist called Aaron Ghosh at the Globe on the 30th of April. And in May, we have Rupert Panesar, who's a brilliant sitar player, world-renowned, coming over to the Sage Gateshead. And then in July, we're preparing now for a Masala Festival again. So, yes, it's back. It is. I think, we did sort of, like I said, we adapted our sort of program and we put some stuff online, and we did program a few things like with socially distanced audiences back in July. But it's really positive now that, and I guess like as well with you, Jeff, it's, having full restaurants and sort of people back in there, and the city's buzzing, plus with Newcastle United, it's buzzing as well. Apart from yesterday's result, but we'll talk about that. However, I think, it's really good to get people back out there and engaging live.
Of course, I think it, like you said, has changed a lot.
And just thinking about all of that cultural and everything else, I mean, one of the other things, I was very fortunate, and I was talking to Jeff about this. I went down to the House of Lords on Tuesday, and it was an amazing experience, as in we talk about celebrating, and you almost feel as if you're celebrating with people and you're trying to break down barriers. But when you celebrate with a room filled with people who are part of that community and understand that community, and the Billamoria, Lord Billamoria, Baroness Sayedawasi, Lord Rami Ranger, they're all happy, willing, and keen to get up here. So we're going to get them up. But I'd like to do it around a cultural type of thing. So, if that's the Masala Festival and gives them an excuse, and we sort of bring in a bit more of a business, because the other thing to recognize as Asians is we are business, and our business is us. We live and work in those type of things. It's not like, oh, it's 5 o'clock, I'll shut my shop, or I'll shut my doctor surgery, or whatever. You might shut those things, but you continue to work. And then when you go to the Gurdwara, the Mandir or the Masjid, you continue both praying but talking about business and sort of supporting each other in that community. But anyway, it was an incredible experience, and it was beautiful to see, the unusual fact of, Bangladesh's High Commissioner is a female, India's High Commissioner is a female, Sri Lanka's High Commissioner is a female, and our Minister for Trade, who's a good friend of Jeff's, Anne-Marie Trevelyan, the MP here, is a female as well. And it was beautiful to have that round table, but talking about culture and community and underpinning that with international trade. So I think there's lots going on. Vikas, I think people are ready and ripe to try and overcome some of those historic barriers and challenges. But equally, they need to be shown the way, and they need an excuse. So, by you giving and creating and curating these opportunities, it's just pulling people together with a common purpose, isn't it?
Absolutely, and I think what you're saying there is right, and it's great that you're representing as well the Northeast there, but equally what we want to do as Northeast businesses and whatever within whatever sector you're working, whether that's in the private or the or the voluntary or the charitable sector, whatever that might be, is to ensure that we have not just a regional approach, but a national and a global outlook. So if we can bring some of those people who you mentioned to the Northeast to show as well that what sort of amazing work that we're already doing here, and make those connections nationally and internationally further, I think, that's good for all of us, and especially for the Northeast.
We just need to do more. As in, there's this wonderful refocus and re-energy on inward investment and all of these type of things. But the bit that I think professional and business and trade bodies are missing is that cultural link, right? Because if you're talking to Saudis, of course, they're going to come and look at, right, this is a transaction. If you're talking to Indian inward investment, Pakistani inward investment, Bangladeshi, Turkish inward investment, all of these international firms, of course, they're coming and they're going, all right, yeah, I understand. Yeah, you've got good universities, right? You've got good economy, you've got good X, Y, Z. But what about the people, man? What about where am I going to feel like some normality, some equalness? And what you're doing and the stuff even opportunities to come and eat amazing food in Jaff's restaurants, come and, have these wonderful experiences, celebrating the type of things they would be celebrating in their home countries. Yeah. This is where the gap is. This is where the opportunity is. And this is where we need to come together and get down to Holi Festival tomorrow. We're going to run out of time. So the Baltic, Vikas, come back on. We love talking to you. It's wonderful.
Yeah, no, I will do. No, it's been such a long time. And it's usually live in the studio, but it's great to also be sitting from our desks wherever we are in our offices to do this as well. But yeah, absolutely. I'd love to come back on again, tell you a bit more about, our upcoming program, also how we can connect as well further going forward. And yeah, please do come down to the Holi Festival Colours, Saturday 19th of March, tomorrow at the Baltic, 12 till 4. But thanks for your support. As always, it's really massively appreciated. So, yeah, and look forward to seeing you.
7 days a week, Spice FM 98.8 FM.
Sergio Stammet says the treatment of 800 seafarers sacked by P&O makes his blood boil.